Hello, everyone. Hello. Today on Scale Podcast, this is your host, Mininder Dhaliwal. And joining us today is Alexander, all the way from Germany. Welcome, Alexander. Welcome to the Scale Podcast.
Hi, Maninda. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Oh, thank you. So let's launch right in. The first question, you are an LP, you have a wide perspective on sectors. Let's pick healthcare. What type of companies you're seeing raising money?
So I had an announcement last week of one of my portfolio companies. Oh, very good. So we raised in these difficult times for the Series B $75 million. So it's a company in the field of cancer. I think these types are working because everyone knows that cancer is a huge problem, and everyone is as well aware of that we have to fight cancer. Mm-hmm. Raising money for topics like these it's not to say it's easy, but it's easier. Yeah. So if you compare it with, for example, another topic, mental health, it's much more difficult to raise for mental health things, because if you're talking about depressions or other things, burnout, etc., many people are not aware of that it could happen. Yeah. But with cancer, everyone knows or has a person in the family or friends who are touched with cancer.
We're seeing that same with AI, like every other industry, you pick 50 to 80, invest and see what happens. And a lot of the issue right now is that they're just running out of money. There is something, but it's not enough that you have a PMF or it's cool. It's not
it's cool.
A useful
it's
thing.
Sexy.
It's just
cool. It's sexy. Yeah.
So, and the hardware required to run it now is not up to startups to do it. So what's your read on what's being funded, where the exits, what should AI founders be looking at?
So I would say, so really again as well, my point of view, I would say 80% of the AI startups will go bankrupt. 70 to 80%, because you have to see your competitor landscape, and normally the founders they have on the competitor landscape other startups.
Yes.
But the challenge are the large corporates. The challenge is in Google and Meta and Apple and all the others, Salesforce, Microsoft, because these guys have as well the access to the customer.
Yes.
And if they decide to have a change in, for example, in the Office software, and put a plugin in, and the startup will have no chance.
Yeah.
And that's my core belief. That's as well the reason why we want to go out of the most of the AI companies, because I think that will be a really huge problem for the whole ecosystem when the big guys begin really to play hard.
Yeah.
There will be a couple of acquisitions for sure. Yeah, that's 100%. But I mean, really, 80% will die.
Yeah, that's fair. And the other thing we're seeing is there's large corporates in the general areas, and the other part is somebody who had scaled in an area, for example, legal data. And it's something, we are going to do an AI for lawyers. Great. But if somebody has already scaled in the traditional non-AI business, they put an AI on, they have all the data. So like you said, it's access to customers and data is key, not somebody who can write algorithms.
So look, if, for example, really Microsoft or Salesforce decided to build a vertical for lawyers, so for legal things, or for accountants or something else, because the thing is, you don't have to develop the wheel new. So it's more or less maybe 20% you have to change, and you have a complete new solution for a complete new vertical.
Yeah.
And I mean, the most important point is really the access to the customer.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as well to see the customer need. And if that is an integrated solution with Office, for example, no
Yeah.
chance.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely that is a brilliant point. And I think where people are coming from is we have a traditional idea of tech where two guys in a basement with a computer can take over big companies because they are doing something smarter, faster,
Cooler.
slicker than others. So that is not applying to AI, or whoever was going to scale has already scaled before the others came on board. Well, I mean, we should have some random successes. It wouldn't be tech if we didn't have that. But that in general, it is not about somebody who can write algorithms, but somebody who has data and access to customer. That's absolutely right on the mark.
And the thing is, a couple of colleagues in Europe, they think it's good to have a regulation in Europe on AI. And I told them, so, okay, it's a very good and fair point. But an AI doesn't care about borders.
So I think with AI, there's one thing that I've noticed is that, like you said, there's a balance. You need to know how far this could go. And the other thing is not to think of AI as omnipotent, that you cannot question its decisions. AI it's like fire. You can use it to cook food or you can use it to burn your house. It's the same, but it's
or like a weapon. You can protect your family or you can kill someone. So
defend yourself, or
yeah, but the question is, I think I don't want that the AI becomes smart, because otherwise you will have a Terminator scenario with what was the name of the AI in Terminator?
Oh, gee, I don't remember now.
Forget it. But you know what I mean. So
Yes.
it will be then a Terminator scenario.
But even then, it went through the telephone directory and started looking for that name and started killing every one of them. What? Really efficient, but simple. You would think a human being, or like a human assassin, would know, let's do a little more research. Let's stand outside their house for a couple of days and get the right one, right? He just picked and start from the top and let's get them all. Problem solved. Maybe not the best way to go about it, but so we're trying to make decisions, best possible decisions with the information we have. And the information, just like in our business, we have asymmetrical information, a lot more on one side and unbalanced, less on the other side. And you're trying to make a best possible decision with what you know.
Yeah. So that's the reason why we currently invest as well only in startups, if a large corporate as well investing in. So that means what I mentioned with so regarding the decisions, and wrong decisions and burn money and etc. We decided to reduce our risk. And to have large corporates on board, which are backing then the whole startup as an investor and as well as a consumer.
Yeah,
very important for us.
Yeah, and they're using it, so they know if it works.
Yeah.
So that's the founder. You always think, you list all the best things that could happen, but as an investor, you know that most of them do not happen. They could happen, but they don't. So,
but one of my first questions is as well when I talk with founders. So I ask them, what's the reason why I shouldn't invest in you? I don't want to hear this blah blah, so shiny, all will be good and we will have, I don't know, 100x return and something like that. I asked the guy, so what are the 3 reasons we shouldn't invest in you?
And what type of answers have you heard to that question?
So really crazy ones. So someone told me, so maybe not, because sometimes I'm depressive.
Okay.
Okay. So, no, I mean, if you come with a question like this,
Yeah.
most of the people didn't expect that.
Yeah.
And for that, they become very honest with you. Of course, they know they have to say something and
Yeah.
not bullshitting. And then they become with maybe very personal things. Or they told me about things in the cap table, which happened in the past with other investors or other things. And I think that's a very good way, because they are not prepared for these kind of questions.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, that's a very, very, from our point of view, a very good question to select good ones and bad ones.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they have as well to act smart. That's a sales process, and
Yeah.
I'm not smart. And if they are not fast enough
Mm-hmm.
to answer the question with a good answer, not a blah 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 answer,
Yeah.
then we will not invest.
Yeah. 100%. I think I have a different variation on the question. I always ask them, what are the challenges you see, and do you have a plan to deal with them? So it is quite similar. Like, some of them have actually thought about what could go wrong, and that tells you it's like a business plan. The point is not the plan. The point is the process of planning. Like, plan is like, just like I think it was Eisenhower said, Second World War, no war plan survives first contact with the enemy. No business plan survives first contact with the customer.
Yeah.
Alexander, you mentioned about industry feedback and building something that the industry needs. If there are founders listening, how do you recommend they go about it? Like, you have huge networks, we have huge networks, but if it was just a founder building a company, how would they go about getting industry feedbacks to make sure they're building something useful?
That's a very good question. So, I mean, because at the first step, he will not get in touch with persons like you or me. So that's mostly the problem.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a guerrilla tactic, but I think it's a good tactic to be at events and wait for persons who were at the stage and who are really experts. And after that, ask them.
Yeah.
And ask on a personal way. So, I mean, have a good elevator pitch, but as well from the personal side. So that means, why are you the right person to do exactly that?
Yeah.
And for example, the cancer thing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you touch a person with cancer, or ask about, so do you have any in your family who had cancer? Of course, everyone will say yes, and
Yeah.
he will be involved. But there as well, always a door which you can open regarding a personal relation. I think this personal relation is the most important thing that you will get feedback.
Yeah.
So because mostly, if I come from the stage, there are, I don't know, a couple of persons who want to talk, and I talk as well with the persons. And I would say 95% it was a one-time talk, and 5% who are really good at the pitches, who are really selling the person really good, and as well the topic. Then I'm willing as well to have 1 or 2 calls that are not I don't know, 1 hour calls. They are 15 to half an hour call.
Yeah.
And then we talk about the whole thing. They make the pitch, and I tell them why yes or why not.
Yeah. I think that's a really important point. And the other thing, what comes to the pitch, and this is where charismatic founders have an edge, because when, let's say, you and I, whether it's evaluating a project to invest in or advise, all you know is what a founder is telling you. And if they don't believe in what they're doing, and this I think is a tough one on founders, like, you have to 100% have, a belief of steel. This will work, because we are relying on cues their body language is sending.
Yes.
how much they believe in. And I think that's
Yes.
a lot to ask from founders. It is a tough one.
And I'm a specialist as well to grill people in the talks, so for that, and I'm pretty sure that you are the same.
Yeah.
and for that, if they survive the first grill, then there is the potential. Yeah. I mean, in the world with video conferences, etc., but you have to do it.
Yes. Conferences, like this conversation is great. Like otherwise you and I would have talked next year at a conference.
Yes.
So these things are great to stay in touch, but building a relationship, you have to go meet people. There's really no substitute for that. And, a friend of mine, it's a little gross. He's like, you trust people you've smelled. I'm like, okay, but I...
Yeah, but that's true. So not on every way, but you know what I mean. Yeah.
It's like if you looked them in the eye and had a conversation, you've got a sense of what kind of person they are.
You get a feeling a bit about the person.
Yes, and the rest of it is we're all striving to get stuff done, and and a lot of it, things, startups that we invest in, we advise. Some of it is, I'm going to say, a lot of it is just the market, which you do not control. But it's like, how do you react to it, and do you have resources to keep going? After somebody has been punched, after you've been punched in the face, do you have a plan? Do you get up and do you keep going, right? And
punch back, yeah.
So... Are you punching back?
Yeah, always.
There's all these mathematical calculations we do, and we do due diligence. You talk to customers, and that's exactly what we do. We say 50 people.
Reference
we reach
calls.
out to 50 in our network, and actually how many of them respond and how quickly is a really good idea for us to know what's happening in the industry. Is this topical? Right? So for AI, for example, even now, out of the 50, 48 of them are calling back. So we know AI is still hot in the big corporations. It's not done deal yet. There is hope and plan for that. And then,
but it depends which kind of AI solution.
So which ones are, I would say, is yes on your side, and which ones are a no? For AI.
I mean, not the next assistant, ChatGPT or something like that.
Yeah.
For sure, no. I mean, if we compare it with the gold rush in the US, for example, who was the winner? The guys
picks and shovels.
Yes, and that's as well the same with AI.
But it was so boring. Drilling for gold was.
Yeah, I mean, it's boring, but it works. So.
I agree with you.
I mean, for that.
Yeah, and he wasn't even the tailor who put rivets on jeans. He's the financier. But Levi's is, and by the way, Americans did not invent denim. Did you know that?
No.
In India and Paris and Italy, they were already denim being done. But this is marketing for you. We all believe Levi's invented jeans.
Yeah.
Right?
I thought it as well. So.
I had to watch a BBC documentary to know this. In greater detail. But I think that's where, this is where I have a bit of a founder hat and an investor hat. And the founder hat is, yes, picks and shovels. But whenever we see these legendary documentaries and TV shows, they're about the guys digging for gold. So I think you just have to find a balance somewhere where you get that, and there's a common sense and hard-headedness. And this is where I think teams of co-founders are better than founders, because the weird person can be totally weird because somebody else is watching the books.
Yep.
That's how I see it, right? And in our partnerships, we have people whose job is just to tell us what can go wrong. And then all the people who are bullish about everything that can go right. And in the middle is the truth. It's neither here nor there. It's in the middle. But
I mean, it depends. Again, so in defense, currently everything works.
Yeah.
For the rest, I totally agree. So.
Yeah, it comes to founders, and we always have, like, some people put more emphasis on X factor. I do a lot, and I am biased towards founders who they jump a little higher, they move a little faster, it's a little bit, and it just means there's adaptability. So there can be charisma where people can bend reality, and people can get mesmerized. And we've had some founders that are pitching, everybody's going, ha ha ha, nodding. I'm like, okay, let's take a week to think about this. We are not writing a check right away.
Yeah.
Because it's just too much reality distortion going on here, because the founder is just so charismatic. So I want at least somebody to make one negative comment.
I mean that's very helpful as well for funding. That's for challenges. It's always important to have this charismatic CEO.
Yeah.
But as well, I mean the whole team is important. If you see the whole team, so the COO who did normally the work, because the CEO is the showman. He is at the stage, make hey, hi, whoa, and a bit fundraising. But the CTO, the COO, or as well the CFO, they do the dirty jobs.
The real work.
Yeah, the real work. Yeah, and the real work. Yeah. So, and the question is, how does the fit is the fit between the team members? That's one thing, and how good are as well the other guys, so who did really the real work in predicting issues.
Yeah, 100%.
And solve issues.
There's something founders can do that make you think of them highly. Like one trait that you think is really positive and really negative in building companies.
So at the beginning, I tried to look really binary, so 0 and 1.
Okay.
So because what's for me important, that the knowledge about the area is really high, because I have, I would say, a good knowledge as a generalist about more or less all topics.
Yes.
And when I pick into several questions and I'm not happy with the answers, that's for me a red flag. Because I try then to bring the persons in a stressful situation.
Yeah.
And if they can handle, maybe as well with a bit charming, with a bit funniest, then they get me. Yeah. So I mean, then there's no more 0 and 1. Yeah, this binary thing. Then they get me. Yeah. But as well, the opposite is if the answers are not really, I would not say good. There are not good and bad answers, but they have to impress me a bit, you know. So with knowledge.
Yeah. So they know. So they know the industry.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And that's absolutely critical.
Or for example, I had one time a founder. He had a very similar experience with war, etc., like I had, and so we talk a bit about his. So we had a half an hour call, which was scheduled, and we talked 1.5 hours.
Yes.
Because I'm not sure what was the starting point, but something like his mother, blah blah blah, and then I asked, so why? Because and he told me, she is currently here, and they are from Syria, and something like that, you know, and that was so that touched me, you know. And then we had an angle and talk about geopolitics and what's right or wrong in the world. I would say 40 minutes, or 1 hour, and then we had half an hour time to talk about the real topics, so the investment, the potential. But that was then for me a really a check in the box.
Yeah, and I think this means whenever this guy has an issue in the future, you'll be able to communicate and collaborate, and that's what you know. And and you're an easy guy to talk to, so that I don't think that's. But if you're you're a friendly guy, but
not always. So I try to be always friendly. But if there is no more room for be friendly, than the opposite.
No, fair enough.
What you have as well to know about me, I'm a martial arts expert.
Okay, so you can not only you can beat them up, you can beat them up as well.
No, I know that pretty well. We've punched into the face, the strategy, and to punch back, so.
Yeah, well, that's what you said, because nobody else has said that, right? Punch back. So that totally. Yes.
I mean, the strategy is really you will get something into the face or at the body,
yeah.
But you have to punch back. You have to punch harder.
100%, punching back. So thank you so much for your time, Alexander. This has been an absolute fun episode to record.
Well, thank you from my side. This talk was really amazing.
Oh, thank you, Alexander. And